Hello, my name is Oleksandr Sienkevych. I'm a Mykolaiv city mayor. Today, together with me, we have Allan Pagh Kristensen, who is the head of the European Anti-Corruption Initiative in Ukraine. We invited Allan to try to record so-called cross-interview um, meeting. This format is kind of new for us, so we trying to open new formats, and we will interview each other. We'll have this conversation in a dialogue format. So please, if you liked it in future, we will be able to run it again with other guests. Hello, Allan. How are you?
Fine, thanks, Alex. It's great to be back in Mykolaiv.
How's the weather? How's Mykolaiv for you not today?
I think the weather's really, really nice. It's a bit hot, but compared with Denmark, my original country, this is much better.
So to break the ice, I need to tell that we have a very fruitful cooperation with European Anti-Corruption Initiative. Mykolaiv started this cooperation in 2020, even before the full-scale invasion. But while the full-scale invasion, we even expanded this cooperation and tried a couple of pilot projects that we are proud of and that we are happy to have with you. So, first of all, I would like to answer questions that you will be able to ask to me today, but I also have questions for you. And people often say that Denmark is among the least corrupt countries in the world. And how did how did you get there? And what from the experience of Denmark can be implemented and can be useful in Ukraine?
It's actually a very good question, and there are no simple answers to it. I think basically it's a question of the Danish people having a deep trust in their authorities and in each other and in the communities in which they're living. And how can that be? And you know, there was once a professor of Romania who wrote an article called "Becoming Denmark" that actually tries to answer exactly that question. And in order to do so, she goes many years back in history, from when the modern Danish state was created, our democracy came. So we are talking like 150, 200 years ago. And there were some issues around the context of that time that made it so that the structures that we created were actually structures that were met with appreciation and support of the people. So it's actually something that is very basic in the Danish culture. And what can we then use from that in Ukraine? Actually, again, not easy, but I think here we need to talk about the values, because that's where it all comes from. It's integrity, it's the trust in authorities, it's zero tolerance of corruption. Because I mean, that was one issue that when I was appointed to this position that I thought about, because we have no anti-corruption institutions in Denmark. There's no high anti-corruption court, because we don't need it.
Yeah, that was my second question about. We often hear that about this zero tolerance is not just a slogan but a way of life in Denmark. So what does it mean in practice? So, I mean, how you implement it or how you made this style of life?
Yeah. You know, I think basically we do not see corruption as an issue in the Danish society. It does mean that there's no corruption. You can find corruption there. Perhaps it's a bit more sophisticated than in Ukraine, yeah, but it is there. But of course, not to the same extent in Denmark. And I think, as I said, it has something to do with trust and values, and I think it comes from the families. I think it comes from the schools, and therefore, when thinking about what I can bring from Denmark to Ukraine in terms of fighting corruption, I think this value-based approach that I think is very important.
I need to mention that this meeting hasn't been planned like from zero to the end. So we are kind of trying and to make it live. We haven't exchanged with our questions, so all the answers are, as we say, created on fly. So for Ukraine, corruption remains a constant focus, both domestically and in how the world talks about us. So it's logical to ask, how do you think for us, how to make or how to get rid of this, image that was created by Russian propaganda, by weak minds inside of Ukraine who replicated that propaganda, and how to get rid not only of corruption at all, like in our different kind of society, but also as a mindset that the number one problem in Ukraine is corruption. So, because a lot of people who've been asked about the biggest problem in Ukraine, they say it's a corruption. But if they asked, do you have you ever met the corruption or just recently, they say no, but I know that because it's well-known fact. So how do you think it's what is the recipe? How to get rid of it? And corruption and mindset.
I think you point to a number of important things here, because it's interesting that there is this mismatch between perception and then actual corruption. And when you go back in time over the last 10 years, where in the surveys we have asked the question, did you during the last 12 months pay a bribe or were part of a corruption situation? And we see the figures has dropped dramatically since 2013, 2014, from like more than 70% to now less than 20. At the same time, the perception, people's perception about the level of corruption in the society has been at the same very high level. So you see some curves going in different directions here, and I think it's actually difficult to explain exactly what is happening, but it tells me that yes, different kinds of corruption has clearly been diminished over the years. We also see that when we look at the global index of Transparency International and so on. But at the same time, I think the conclusion is also that there's still a lot of corruption in Ukraine. And I think the way to deal with it is to have a very holistic approach to it, because there's no quick fix here. So it's about going after the high-level corrupt people. So it's about punishment. It's about preventing corruption. And a lot of what we do with you in Mykolaiv is to prevent corruption, is to close the gaps there might be in the regulations, to close gaps for corruption in procurement and so on. And then there's this value integrity thing, where I think schools, kids should be the target audience. So again, no easy answer to a question, but I think many different answers that somehow together can give us some guidance here.
Cool. So again, as soon as if it's dialogue, you can ask me questions.
I will. So you mentioned that we have been working together now for some years, and I think my first question to you will be, are you satisfied with what we have achieved together in Mykolaiv?
I'm super happy that we have this cooperation, and I think the best proof of our cooperation is that in several topics where we started to work cooperation with you, we are number one in Ukraine. So we number one and still the only one city that provided people with a total report of all the help, of the international help that we got from all our partners. It's not only about Denmark, but it's all about international partners. We update this report, and all the people who are interested can get the information about what we got, how much left, how it was spent, and so on. And every time when I'm outside of Ukraine and I share this information with our potential partners or current partners, and this exactly slide and this exactly topic is very important for them, and they try to stop on that to find out more about it. And usually I say this, that we are number one city, but we are ready to share with this experience with other cities. And surely we are piloting different projects like corporate management in our municipal water supply company, Mykolaiv Canal, which you helped us with. You made integrity assessment of with your help. We made integrity assessment with Deloitte on Mykolaiv Canal. Then we changed the rules, procurement that saved million hryvnias, actually, and this is a good result. Next thing that we are implementing is corporate management with the supervisory board, which was again with your help created by Ukrainian Association of Corporate Management, and we now in the finish on the finish line with with this process. The next step is a public contest on the director general of this enterprise, and then we will have the fruitful work. A lot of people say that this is like a mayor. I'm losing some, things that I could manage manually because I gave these things to corporate staff like supervisory board. But I'm sure that it should be done like this, like it's made in European countries. And again, we are first one city that by initiative of city council decided to do it. We have total support, 100% support of city council. I would like to say thank you to all our city councilors who involved in this process. And as I told you before, we are ready to go in any kind of pilot projects that you want to run in Ukraine. Because after Mykolaiv Canal, today, because you are here, we had a report about this work done by PricewaterhouseCoopers on two biggest other enterprises like heating company Mykolaiv Oblteplоenерgo and transport company Mykolaiv Elektrotrans. After this work, there will be done some actions that we will implement on these enterprises, and then next step is implementing of the supervisory board as a result of this work. So I'm really happy and I'm proud of this work, and I think we are ready to share with this experience with any cities because we are ready to be and we're happy to be first. But I think we can live in our so-called egg of happiness, and we're ready to share this experience with other cities so the whole country, Ukraine, will implement these tools and will be successful with us. And as I have a question for you again. For Ukraine, corruption remains a constant focus. So both domestically and how the world talks us about us, as we just mentioned. So, do you think that the results of our cooperation in Mykolaiv could be a case to show how things has been changed in particular city or in a country as a trend? And again, I would like to put people in context. When you started to do this in Ukraine, and how you see this progress since the office opening in Ukraine till today?
No, I think it is actually very important for your international partners that you have a role model as Mykolaiv has become in terms of working with integrity. Because it's very, somehow it's very tangible, huh? And it's very easy to understand that you have a city, a municipality that is then testing all these different tools that we give you in order to strengthen integrity. And it's not always so visible to illustrate exactly what we have done. I think we are now trying in the way we present the result of our work to calculate how much did we save from the budget because of better procurement procedures and more competition and those things. And I think being a role model, it's perhaps important that we are trying to be better at selling the success stories, not only to the international audience, but also to your citizens in Mykolaiv. And I could actually wonder a little bit, I mean, because a lot of what we have done is quite technical. It's about rules and regulations and procurement and municipal-owned enterprises. But what does it mean for the ordinary citizen of Mykolaiv? And are we good enough in reaching out and showing the results of our work? So I will give the question back to you, Alex.
Well, again, I think we do enough in self-changing, but we still can't get to the every heart of the Mykolaiv citizens, because they still think that everything that happens is somehow connected more to public actions, but not a real actions in the real life. They don't quite understand, or we don't quite really good communicate that we're changing the core of corruption, the possibilities, that we eliminate the possibilities of corruption. I remember that a year ago we had a meeting in your office with a lot of different kind of people, very respected city, state, parliament members, different state institution, anti-corruption institutions, and I told that I don't too much trust to people, because all people who are Christians, we pray to God and ask not to put us in temptation. So people are always under temptation, and we need to accept it, the human nature, and create rules and tools just to avoid this temptation in the work. So it's not about people, it's more about rules, regulations, and so on. So we need to eliminate the possibilities, and then people won't be tempted under temptation, and they will be able to, well, let's say, to change their behavior. And then they will see that it's impossible to be under temptation. They will leave, they will find another job, or they will change themselves. So that's why I think this is very important to do the job that we do with you. And I think people seeing that and seeing you in the city of Mykolaiv, and knowing that Denmark demands from us to implement all these anti-corruption tools to support us in future, that we don't have any other chances not to do it. And even if we speak about personalities, we don't speak about Mayor Sienkevych, but we speak about the system of local governance in Mykolaiv that we are changing, that any kind of mayors, Sienkevych or other ones, won't be able to turn this machine back. So, but cooperation, it's not about only international level, but that, again, this is very important for us to show to the world that we are transparent, that we want to fight the corruption, that we do everything that we can to avoid it in our cooperation. But it's also important to the community functions. So, and again, do you think, I need to hear from you, do you think you are successful in this help for other self-government, or only in Mykolaiv? And are you happy with the progress in other cities in Ukraine?
Yes, we are working with 6 cities in Ukraine. So besides Mykolaiv, it's Nikopol, it's Zhytomyr, Streptytsky, Chernivtsi, and recently we also began a cooperation with the city of Poltava. I think we are, I'm a modest guy, but I think we are relatively successful in these cities where we are working. The city of Chernivtsi became number 1 in the Transparency International's list of open and transparent cities in Ukraine. Mykolaiv became number 7 and number 1 as the frontline city. So I think that's also very good results. No, I think we are doing good things in all the cities where we are. these cities are actually quite different cities, and you have different challenges, and there are things we do in Chernivtsi that we don't need to do in Mykolaiv, and the other way around. That's also because what is so important for the way we work is to have the local ownership, and we don't do anything in Mykolaiv without we have an agreement with you, and very often the idea comes from you, and that's also the way to make things sustainable. So it's not so we come with a package of things and say do that and we will support you, but we have this dialogue, and I think that's so important. Alex, I know that you like to travel, and you have been in many places around the world, and I could imagine that each time you bring something with you back to Mykolaiv where you think, okay, this could be great to do also in Mykolaiv. Could you give a few examples of your thoughts in that direction?
First of all, thanks to you, thanks to your help, the European Anti-Corruption Initiative, we decided to at last change the structure of our municipality. So we gathered the best practices in Ukraine and outside of Ukraine. And I think this is the main goal for us till the end of this year, to change the system of management of the city. And I need to mention that European Anti-Corruption Initiative financed the work of Ernst & Young company, which made a deep exploration of the structure. They provided us with rules and ideas how to change the structure of decision making in the city of Mykolaiv, how to make it more efficient, and in the end of the day to save money of the taxpayers and make this structure more efficient. So again, we sent a lot of our co-workers outside of Ukraine to exchange their experience with the other cities around the world, and they brought us this information, and we try to implement it here in Mykolaiv in Ukraine. Again, we also get some, let's say, best practices in Ukraine, like in Lviv, in Mariupol, in other cities that were successful in the city management, and we do it transparently. We don't want to do it like internal club. We want to be city councilors to be involved in this process. We decided to make it in a couple of stages, but I think there are a lot of different hard things that we bring from our partner cities. I mean, tractors, excavators. You know that how much people of Denmark helped us with survival and the processes of our future planning. But also we got a lot of these soft things that we are trying to implement in city management, in particular areas management like public transportation, water supply, heating supply, and so on. So again, when we promote our city as a city that cooperates with European Anti-Corruption Initiative, they really value it, and they recognize us as a really trustful partner. Yeah, and we want to be this kind of partner.
Right. I think perhaps the audience now get the impression that that it's very easy to work with integrity and anti-corruption in Mykolaiv city. Is it so?
Actually, from my perspective, from the head of as a head of Mykolaiv City Council, it's not too easy, because again, we need to change people, their attitude. But in other case, it's really easy to work with you because we have an idea, we discuss it, we like draw the plan, and we create a plan, and then we go by this plan till the end of the project. We have timelines. Unfortunately, some projects really slow in the real life, like the change of structure that we decided to make last year, but only now on this August session, city council session, the decision will come to the city councilors. But anyway, we have this plan. We ask everyone to stick to that plan, and we have parallel processes that not one after another, but that can go in parallel. And our experience with the Vodokanal, for example, is used by other cities that we already have. We already had uh, groups from other cities, from Vinica, which came to get our experience, just not to make all the mistakes or let's say delays that we had with this. So, and again, as soon as we plan to replicate it on other municipal enterprises, we learn from our experience. So it's not easy, but it's not too hard, and it's with your help, and we are getting the unique experience that we are ready to share with others.
What if we talk about the future for a second? What if we imagine that you are also mayor 5 years from now, and that you are still an integrity city with our support? What would you like to achieve 5 years from now in the field of work where we are active?
It's a very provocative question, you
I
know,
know.
because as soon as we will have elections after the end of the war, I think this is not achievement of me as a mayor, or not. We need to discuss achievements of the city. What what I would like to have in the city in 5 years. I think we need to go forward with this, let's say, wave which we own. I mean, the wave to go as much transparent as we can. I really dream about this Transparency International Award, city number one in Ukraine on transparency, and we do as much as we can to do it. I hope that after the end of the war, we will be able to uncover a lot of information that will make us number one because we want to be that city. And I think it's already let's say it's a demand of modern life. So we plan to be a part of European Union. We need to be changed. We need to change our procedures. We need to change our attitude to corruption. We need to change, let's say, our image for our European partners. And as for reconstruction, we decided to go in this area, let's say global. So we two cities which are supported by you. I mean, Mykolaiv and Kharkiv are two cities which took part in the European of United Nations program, UN for Ukrainian cities. So we plan our reconstruction, and then it's a really big challenge because after the end of the war, we'll have to reconstruct all the ruined territories, buildings, infrastructure, and so on. And again, the funds that we will have should be transparently spent. And you know, since the full-scale invasion, Mykolaiv haven't got any financial support. I mean, that was my how to say that number one demand. We don't want to deal with the money of our partners. If we need pipes, we ask for pipes. If we need pumps, if we need excavators or any kind of even plywood, we ask our partners to procure and to provide us with them so we can use it and report how we used it. But anyway, in future we will have to spend money on reconstruction with our entities, with our different kind of structures, and we need to be prepared. So I think our cooperation with European Anti-Corruption Initiative should be aimed on that. And will I be the mayor, or will there be another mayor? He needs to, the one who will be a mayor needs to be tied, I mean, close to that line to make this process of reconstruction transparent and, let's say, clear for our partners who will help us to do it, either with finances of extracted Russian assets after the end of the war, or reparations that will be paid from Russia, or the world community help, or any kind of other resources. But we need to work with them in transparent way, clear, understandable. Even if we need to involve foreigners in this process as workers, we will have to do it. So I think this one, to stick to the plan to make Ukraine transparent. And again, I would like to quote my mother. I always do it, who said that cockroaches don't like lights. So we need to put as much lights on all this process as we can.
Right, and that's also part of, I think, our cooperation. It's with IT tools, GIS, tools. You talked about the reporting on international aid coming to Mykolaiv. It's all about making information public. Of course, there's some limits in Mykolaiv because of the war. So there's some, you cannot make everything public, but I think this is also something that is our experience, that transparency is the best enemy of corruption.
Thanks for this reminder. I almost forgot it, that we also do the very big and very important thing about our GIS system. So people will understand. I need to put people in context so they will understand what we do. So let's say we have a map of the city of Mykolaiv, where we have all our city streets and so on. So together with European Anti-Corruption Initiative, we made a special layer where we put all the data about ruined objects. We also created and expanded for different layers where we put all the data. As soon as the war is over, we will be able to make this data open, and all the people around the world, not only in Mykolaiv, they will be able to find what kind of information they need, like roads, buildings, like leads, any kind of public transportation scheme, anything that will be there, and people will be able to work with this information, make it more efficient, or giving their proposals how to use the resources of the city in a more efficient way, and so on. And by the way, this particular GIS system will be used in recovery process after the end of the war. Unfortunately, a lot of data that has like special access can be shown now, but we work on that in our internal, let's say, administrative staff, which put this information down, and then we will be able to show this to the world, to people, to community. So what I'm trying to, maybe we need to finish this conversation, because people think like, how long they can speak about corruption, saying that not too much corruption in Ukraine. Despite all the challenges, we must look ahead. And what do you see your role in our cooperation and in the reconstruction of Ukraine? Almost the same question as you asked me, but what about your role? How do you think, and how do you think you can be changed, or what's, let's say, areas of our cooperation you see as a perspective once?
You know, we work in the field of reconstruction, both at the national level and then in Mykolaiv. The way we formulate our task here is that we are there to help Ukraine put in place a framework for the reconstruction process that is characterized by the values of transparency, accountability, integrity. So it's about systems, it's about procedures, it's about IT. That's what we do at the national level with the Ministry of Development, the Agency of Restoration.
I just wanted to ask you, because we talk about a lot about the local authorities, exactly. But what about state authorities?
Yeah, exactly, because things are connected here, huh? Yeah. And then a focus on reconstruction in Mykolaiv. And I think actually it makes very good sense both to work at the national and the local level, because we see a lot of synergies here, and things we do in Mykolaiv we can scale up through the national level to other cities, and the other way around. For instance, we, the Agency of Restoration has now created this centralized procurement office with our support.
On the finish line, or
no, it's established now. Recently the CEO was appointed. They don't have like a track record, but they're getting there. But the idea to, like, instead of having all these decentralized procurement structures, you simply need to have a centralized structure where you have the experts, where you have the procedures in place, and much better supervision than you would have at the local level. And I think we talked about it this morning, that in cities in Ukraine, each department has its own procurement, and that's actually not the way to do it. And I think in Danish municipalities you have a procurement department that covers everything, where you have the expertise and you have all these tools to scrutinize that everything goes the way it should, without any corruption and so on. And I think that's an example of something I think you should look at in Mykolaiv, what can be done here, inspired by what they did at the national level.
We will wait. Well, first of all, still we have kind of restrictions by the law, because it's about the centralized procurement departments could be done in the cities which have amount of citizens more than 1 million. But anyway, I think after the end of this, let's say, revolution that you do now in the Agency of Restoration of Ukraine, we will ask our government and our state parliament members to accept changes to those laws to make smaller cities be able to do it, because each entity, like you said, has its own procurement division, either it's medical or education or capital construction or any kind of other, but they do the same actions with a different kind of different kind of assignments, but do the same actions, and they can be unified, because the procurement department in big companies like Maersk or let's say even that have budget bigger than Ukraine, they have only one department that procures all the stuff. And again, we want to be a part of this to say a part of this change, and we are ready to pilot this in the city of Mykolaiv, and at least it couldn't be done like in one day together, or all the procurement divisions in one, but at least we can make a plan. In that plan we can get 1 second education, medical, physical use, and all other. We actually, by the way, we got rid of these procurement departments in a couple of divisions, doing this change, the nearest change to our structure. But it was easy because they don't procure any specific things, like only procure some like paper and other stuff to, let's say, to exist. But if it's more complex procurement procedures like construction or some special things, they do it by themselves, not with a centralized entity. So, but I think this is the future, and we will be also connected to this change, and we are ready to do it.
And of course, I mean, we also have, I think, good examples of things we have done together in Mykolaiv that can inspire at the national level. And I think a good example there is this supervisory board of the water canal, which is unique in Ukraine, and I think it's really great that we came so far with that. And thanks for your personal engagement here, Alex. I think it's really great. But that has inspired us, together with a group of members of the parliament, to look at whether we could have a national legislation that could make these supervisory boards obligatory for like critical municipal-owned enterprises around the country. So this about being a role model and synergy between local and national level is actually, I think, is extremely valuable for the development of a country.
Thank you, Allan. I think we need to finish our conversation. I know that we can talk about anti-corruption ideas and initiatives for hours, but to make it shorter, I want to say thank you from all the citizens of Mykolaiv for your help to make us more transparent, more anti-corrupted, and to build a system that won't depend on you or me, but that will grow by itself. Thank you very much. And I also want to say, you as a head of European Anti-Corruption Initiative, you also as a here as a representative of people of Denmark, because you're a citizen of Denmark. And I also want to say thank you because the help that Denmark provides us, the city of Mykolaiv and the region of Mykolaiv with, is actually invaluable, because it's a also unique help that we have from Denmark, and this cooperation is unique for Ukraine. Non-cities in Ukraine have such cooperation with other countries. So let's keep it going, and let's keep it moving forward. Thank you, and please tell your words, and we'll be finishing this conversation.
Also, thanks to you and your colleagues for this great cooperation we have with Mykolaiv. I mean, from the very beginning, it has been so fruitful, and it has been so important for us to feel that in Mykolaiv there were no limits to the ideas and to what we could do, and every time we felt strong support from you and your colleagues. I would also like to say, now I've been in Mykolaiv a number of times, both before and after the full-scale invasion, that I'm so happy to see how the city is developing, and I haven't had much time to look around today, I must admit. But I saw two things in the morning that I noticed. One was that you now have a really nice area where people can come and do fitness outside with a view of the river and everything, just next to the city council. The other thing was that you again have water in the fountains on the square in front of the city council building. And that's really nice to see. We saw kids there having fun on a hot day like this. And last time I was in Mykolaiv before the war, summer 21, I mean that the life of the city around the square and the kids and the water and all that made me. I mean, made a big impression on me at that time, and I'm so happy to see that it's coming back now.
I need to mention that the water in Fontaine is still a little bit salty, but with the help of agency of restoration, state agency that we mentioned while our conversation, we hope that in nearest time and next time you are here, we will have drinking water in our pipes back, so we'll be able to drink it from tap. Thank you, Allan. I hope that this meeting was useful for you, and if it's really good, or you want to have other guests to have this format, cross interview format, and if you like it, let us know, and we will ask other guests to come here and have this conversation. Thank you, Allan.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome in Mykolaiv. Welcome to Mykolaiv, and you are always welcome to Mykolaiv. Thank you.
It's always great to be here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.